City of Soledad
Here.
and County of Monterey. I think we do have
We have.
one.
But yeah. Okay, so we're going to public comment, or is there anybody in public comment that wants to share thoughts? Seeing none? Anybody up in space want to share thoughts? I see none. So let's go to the consent agenda. Item 3, approve the minutes of the board meeting, administrative performance on March 9th.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, do we go out to the public though? Being no public comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Action 4, review the administrative performance.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. From the administration side, some of the things that we've been tracking for some time, and you'll receive a report later in your full board agenda, is our staffing. And we're doing really, really well. Actually, we are finally, well, we have been for some time now over budget with the number of drivers we have, but we've consciously done that because we were so short for so long. We want to have that extra cushion. And we have been successfully, we created a new job classification that we implemented last year for small bus drivers that are running the so we call them minibus, or they call it the suburban board coach operators. It's a new job classification for drivers. It has a different wage scale, and they are those drivers that work for MST that are driving the routes that use small buses. So in the South County cities, and we're now seeing finally those drivers are starting to promote into becoming the drivers of the big buses. So that is the new path that we're creating. We're hiring specifically for small bus drivers, suburban board, and then with experience, they will move into driving the large buses, and that's been working well, and that's finally starting to happen after some time. So we're happy about that. You'll get a presentation on overall open positions on your full board meeting notes. Another thing that on the administration side we're tracking is our contactless payment system, which we implemented some time ago. Currently 15% of all of our transactions are being done now with tap to pay, and that's just been growing ever since we implemented. MST is leading a 10-county coalition of transit operators who are looking to implement the same. And so that includes Santa Cruz, Monterey, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, and Ventura as part of this 10-county coalition. It also includes areas not directly connected to us, like San Francisco County, Humboldt County, Stanislaus County, Nevada County, and Riverside. The idea is to create a debit card that is issued by MST or by the public transit operator for those individuals who may not have a bank account or don't choose to get a bank account or credit card from their bank because of for whatever their personal reasons may be. So this will allow those folks to participate in the program, and we'll be coming back maybe next month with a selection on that. We're hoping, we're pushing for that. And that'll be exciting because we'll have 10 counties across the state will be implementing this similar technology that MST led the way on. With that, I think you saw the news, not necessarily an administration item, but in March, for the previous 12 months prior to March, we've been averaging a 3% month-to-month growth in ridership. The war in Iran started on, I think, February 28th, 27th. And during the month of March, you and I saw fuel prices go up 30% at the pump. During that month, it's continued to go up since that point. But we saw a 13% growth in just March alone. So we're 3%, 13% growth in ridership.
Right.
Running the same hours, the same span of service, nothing new that substantially. So we're thinking, all things being equal, that the high cost of fuel is a tipping point for some of our community now. We saw over a 20% increase in passenger boardings on our our longest distance routes, the long distance commuter routes like line 23, King City to Salinas, or from Salinas to Watsonville, or Salinas to Gilroy, a 20% increase in that month. So it's not this is something, it's not unique to Monterey County. I'm seeing reports from all around the country, Spokane, Oakland. Others have indicated the same. I haven't seen anyone quite at the numbers that we're producing. So could be a combination of gas prices and the seasonal workers coming into town at the same time. Here we do have that occurring as well. So that concludes my overview.
Terrific. Is there any questions? Any questions from the public? Good. So moving on, thank you so much. Item 4.2 is receive state legislator advocacy. Michelle Obermeyer.
Good morning, committee members. Michelle Overmeyer, Director of Planning and Innovation. Page 83 of your full agenda package has the written staff report for the state legislative update. And we have our friends in Sacramento joining us on the Zoom, Matt Robinson and Michael Pimentel.
Good morning,
Thank
everybody.
you.
And
Thanks
we
for
have
having us.
Michael and Matt on the screen.
Yes, hopefully everybody can hear us all
Good
right.
morning.
Good morning. My name is Matt Robinson.
Matt, you are unmuted. Okay, you're both unmuted. Great.
Yeah. Can you guys hear us?
Your turn.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear
You
us?
can. Take it away.
Carl,
We're not.
Shaw Yoder, you're on.
Michael,
Well,
you want
thank you
to
for your
talk?
report.
Yeah, I'll give this a go. Can you guys hear us?
Are we
Sounds like we might have an issue with our audio in the room.
there? Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Are you speaking?
We are.
We are.
You are speaking. Okay, we don't hear you.
Okay.
Thank you. That helps. How are you with American Sign Language? We are not here.
Yeah. Just a test. Board Member Alejo, can you hear us?
Please stand by.
Try now, Carl.
Can you, Michael or Matt, can
Yeah.
one of you speak?
How about now? Can you hear us now?
We're still not hearing you in the room. Nothing.
You could provide that report.
No, we're going to have, if this doesn't resolve in a couple minutes, we're going to have Michael or Matt call one of our staff here on their cell phone, and they can put it next to the microphone at the dais.
The
We'll
other people on Zoom can hear them.
What's that?
The other people on Zoom can hear them.
The other people on Zoom can hear them.
Yes, we just can't hear them.
Luis has his hand up. I'm not certain that we can hear him though, but go ahead and unmute yourself, Luis.
Louise, are you there?
He has his hand.
Supervisor?
He is on mute at the moment. Luis, can you try speaking? Okay.
Oh, he's unmuted.
Can hear you. Sorry, I couldn't unmute
Good
myself.
morning,
So thank you
Supervisor.
for allowing me that.
Him in there. We're doing so well, we're just moving right along.
You were doing a great
We've
job.
been done by 9:15, but no.
Test, test, test.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. They can't in the boardroom.
Okay.
Can we bring that into the boardroom? And put it next to the microphone?
What's that?
Your laptop?
Laptop.
That would not be ideal because then I can't hear here.
Okay. I have them call Lisa or Michelle.
Sure. This was working earlier, so
We could move into the closed session room, because that had sound.
Well, how's that sound? Michael?
you guys can, I can move everybody to closed session.
Okay. Good call, Michael. Thank you. We're going to move into room 110 next door. We don't have room for members of the public. Sorry.
But they can be watching here.
Right.
And speak here, and we'll be able to hear them there.
Sounds good. Okay, this group will move into the room next door. Folks on Zoom, you may or may not get some in there. Communication. And we're off.
Just the boardroom. Yeah. Where they've changed. There is. I need a breakout room. Where is
Breakout room. Yeah.
this? Is
We look at that.
easy. Where's the breakout room?
We're good.
There we go. I got it. Got it.
Found it. Here. It says because I think that's showcase something. Yeah. If target points. Okay, yeah, this is the copy. It's screen.
Call.
But everybody needs to see.
Nobody can hear us in there.
Oh, wait, hold on, let me help. That I actually know how to fix,
See what's going on.
and you just go.
Go out the plugin, then.
Yeah.
Michael, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
You never get up from here.
There we go.
Oh, I forgot my notes. Hold on.
Don't wait on me, you go.
Hi, Mr. Chair, you can continue the meeting.
So let's continue the meeting and thank you for attending and sharing with.
Okay, is that our cue to continue?
It's hot in here. All mics
You
are
can't
hot.
hear. No,
You can hear us.
okay.
We can hear you just fine, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Can you
Let's
hear
go.
us? We're good?
We're good.
All clear to proceed?
Yes.
Go
All
for it.
right. Thank you. And sorry about the technical difficulties this morning. We've been able to hear each other just fine on the Zoom, but understand there's some issues in the room. Since we lost some time, I will try to keep my remarks short.
No, you can come in, who's room? Can we, do you know how to get the volume up a little bit? They're pretty muffled.
Taking a beat.
Carl, there's just a remote control for the volume.
Okay, we're good.
Should be good.
I heard it from over there, so.
Yeah, Carl, you might consider whoever is MST admin might want to mute themselves because when you walk into the other room, we can hear you from in there.
Yes, we need to still fix the thing.
Okay, we good?
We're good, let's go.
Okay, sorry, there's just chatter coming through the other microphone that MST admin has on. All right, Thanks for having us this morning. Matt Robinson with Shaw Antwish Melzer and Lang, joined by my partner Michael Pimentel. Quick update on sort of where we're at in Sacramento. We have some deadlines fast approaching. Really, the first House deadline is upcoming at the end of the month. And that's when all the bills that started in the Assembly have to move over to the Senate and vice versa. Perhaps more importantly, though, later this week on Thursday, the appropriations committees will have their dreaded suspense file hearings, where all the bills that have been parked on suspense or will be parked on suspense this week, meaning they have a significant fiscal cost to the state, will have that very rapid hearing where it is up to the appropriations chair and leadership in the houses to determine whether or not those bills will continue on or will be held on the suspense file where they will be done for the session. There are a few bills in the report that we've noted in the Appropriations Committee. Those are on the suspense file, things MST is paying attention to. And so we will be tracking all of that on Thursday. We'll have an update for staff after that Appropriations Committee meeting. And if bills are fortunate to move out of there, they then head to the floors of the houses where they have to have their floor votes before they can cross into the other house's turf. At which point we repeat the process all over again, going through the policy committees, the fiscal committees, and then the floor votes again. Another big thing happening this week on Thursday is the governor will release what's called the May revise. That's his update to the budget that he proposes in January. The reason they call it the May revise is because we get all of the April tax receipts in, and the state is able to make a better projection of what the budget is going to look like for the coming fiscal year, being FY 26-27. That's been thrown out of whack the last few years because during the pandemic, we had some tax delays, et cetera, where folks didn't have to file, until the fall or beyond that April date. This year, though, we're sort of back to normal. Last year, we were back to normal. So hopefully they'll be able to project with a little bit more certainty what the state's fiscal position is going to look like. I'm going to come back to Michael in a second, who's going to have more of an update on some things that may put some pressure on the budget this year in terms of some of the programs you all care about. Before I do that, though, it's looking like we may have a bit of a surplus, if not a balanced budget for this year, though we are projecting $25 to $30 billion structural deficits in the out years. So think fiscal year 27-28, 28-29, 29-30, et cetera. And so we'll have to see how the governor proposes to course correct so that he's not handing off the state's fiscal situation in a worse place than he inherited it to the next governor, whoever that may be. I just note we have one MST budget ask in for some additional mitigation funding on the SURF program. And we have asks in from Assemblymember Addis, who put an official letter on record. We have been working with Senator Laird's staff and Speaker Rivas's team. Carl's going to be up here for our spring legislative conference in about a week and a half, and we're going to make some meetings with our delegation members just to continue to emphasize the need for that additional funding to complete the project. And then finally, there is some funding that we are expecting from SB 125. You all remember that's the flexible capital operations funding that was supposed to be provided by Cap and Invest. The governor has not proposed to include that funding. That has about a $7 million impact to MST. And Michael will talk a little bit more right now about the why and some of the other things that are happening with Cap and Invest that frankly paint a pretty bleak picture for transit and housing moving forward. So I'll stop there, hand it to Michael Pimentel, and then we're happy to take questions at the end.
Yeah, and thank you, Matt. Director, it's good to be with you this morning. Probably going to deliver one of the more urgent updates, more dire updates that we have in our time supporting MST. And here I want to note that the California Resources Board has proposed a series of new amendments to the Cap and Invest program. These were amendments that were jump-started by last year's action to reauthorize that program. And unfortunately, those proposed amendments are going to have a fairly significant impact on Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund revenue generation that supports key programs like the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program, the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program, and as Matt noted, the SB 125 funds that still have 2 remaining years of appropriations. So there's a lot going on in the proposed amendments. I'm not going to go into precise details, but what I will note for you is that in an effort to address concerns around the jobs impacts and the affordability impacts of the proposed regulation, CARB has offered a series of new provisions that, when taken in total, will reduce the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund by $2 billion. And so, directors, that takes that $4 billion program down to a $2 billion program and would have the practical impact of zeroing out GGRF support for the TIRCP and LC top through 2030. That's a $600 million a year loss in revenue for transit agencies statewide. For MST, that closes off a competitive funding opportunity, which very recently MST had used to support the SURF project. It also would lead to a cut in operating support to transit agencies for MST. It's about $1 million annually. And then finally, as we've noted, it would make more difficult the path for funding the remaining appropriations for SB 125. A note for you that at a statewide level, that's $690 million that remains in the balance. For MST specifically, that's $6.9 million that may not move forward. And so I do want to highlight that there is a fairly aggressive and broad campaign that is now engaged in pushing back on CARB's proposed amendments. We have found some friends and partners in the California State Legislature. Much of that work is being led by the California Transit Association, which you all know. Carl serves on our executive committee, Lisa serves on our finance and management committee, and Michelle serves on our state legislative committee. And we have built a coalition of more than 70 organizations from across the GGRF funded programs. So think transit, affordable housing, labor groups, environmental justice organizations, along with 50 transit and regional entities. MST is on our sign-on letter, as is TAMC and AMBAG. And we're asking the legislature to intervene and push back on CARB with the general message that, one, the zeroing out of funding for these key programs actually takes us backwards on jobs and affordability. And then also to highlight that the legislature was very specific last year. In addition to reauthorizing the program, they reauthorized the expenditure plan. And they made commitments to the various programs like TIRCP and LC Top, the Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities Program, and AB 617 community air grants that now are threatened to be zeroed out. Now, at this stage, we have found an audience and support from the Senate. Just last week, there was an oversight hearing held in the Senate Subcommittee number 2, which oversees climate investments, as well as Senate Environmental Quality. And there, from across the dais, there were grave concerns that were expressed at CARB. A lot of pushback on CARB for their direction that included pushback from your Senator John Laird. And we have seen that your caucus, for the Central Coast Caucus, has begun to engage as well. There's a sign-on letter led by Assemblywoman Addis and Assemblymember Hart with sign-on for Senator Laird that has voiced concerns to CARB. But I'll be candid, in the Assembly, we've seen otherwise very little traction. And what we've been told is that there is a split caucus with some who are content with the direction that CARB has taken, not because they're anti-transit or anti-housing investments, but rather because they see these changes being necessary for addressing affordability and impacts on industry. And then there are some, yes, that are voicing concerns, but unfortunately they're being drowned out by a louder voice of their colleagues. And therefore, Assembly leadership has not weighed in on this issue to push back in the same fashion that the Senate has. And so, as we're reporting today, we are looking for allies in local government who will join alongside us in elevating these concerns. We are clear-eyed in our acknowledgement. As much as we can be pushing on our elected officials in Sacramento, it is another thing to have you all from the ground up pushing on them and asking them to engage. And we're asking specifically for some support in engaging with the Speaker's office, engaging still with your delegation. Again, your delegation is generally fairly strong on this issue, but we are wanting to make sure that folks know that they have cover from locals to move forward and pushing back on CARB, and then to the extent that they've not weighed in, to hopefully move forward in weighing in. So it was a pretty substantive report, a lot that I had to gloss over just for the sake of time, but I'm happy to pause here and take any questions or comments from those at the dais.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions as we go around? Yes, sir.
Michael, it's Carl. So, staff, as you know, is pushing this, and for the board, the SURF program received about $25 million from this source. That's secure. We're not going to lose that, but we have other projects coming up, like the Salinas Operations Maintenance Building, that this would be a source of funding for in the future. And if we were to lose that, that would just cut off that source for us. As a matter of impact countywide, we just received information that while statewide unemployment is at about 5.5%, Monterey County is at 10.6% in the month of March. Our SURF program has 80 jobs every day of carpenters, masons, heavy equipment operators, general laborers at work. It is 22% of the entire workforce at Granite Rock is working on our project. So we're keeping local people and local businesses employed with this funding source. So, Michael, what specifically can our board members do? Since staff is working at a staff level, what can our board members do, and what would you encourage them to do, given the importance of this program for our local economy?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Carl. I think probably the best use of board members' time would be to engage with your state level elected officials. I would say at a baseline, that should be engagement with their district offices, district directors, but ideally that would be direct engagement with the legislators themselves. And here I'll go back to the observation around the assembly and that split caucus. I think in order for that house to ultimately engage on this issue, they're going to have to hear from more individuals, electeds here in Sacramento, but also too electeds down at the local level. And those calls have to be placed, I think, directly with Speaker Rivas's office, highlighting the jobs impacts, highlighting the potential impacts for investments in the district. We'll note for you again that as much as this is an issue about public transit, it is also an issue for things like the Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities Program. And so many of your cities, for example, are likely looking to partner with developers to help address affordability in your jurisdictions. That too will be a foreclosed opportunity. And so as you engage, my encouragement would be, yes, a focus on the work that MST is currently conducting, that work that it could conduct with additional resources, but also too to talk through what may be local partners on some of those other programs so you can paint a broader picture and really demonstrate the ways in which this proposal undercuts precisely what CARB is presenting. It's making advancements on, which is again affordability and jobs. And so, Carl, I'll just stop there, and of course, happy to take any follow-ups.
Just out of curiosity, the president of the board of directors of this group would write a letter. Would that have any value or any weight?
We've been writing letters. I
Okay.
think at this point, I think personally, Michael and I have had this discussion, a more personal touch from
Okay.
local elected officials to our state officials, specifically Speaker Rivas, would probably do more, especially if you can bring in the voices of labor who are working on these projects, or the construction companies that are leading these projects. And it's not just MST, but I mean, Granite Rock is doing a lot of work for Campsie as well, and other construction folks. I think Speaker Rivas needs to hear from a broad base of interests, elected officials directly, and also some of those large business partners. That fair, Michael?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is this SB 125, you said? Or what is?
SB 125 is this part of it, or no? SB 125 is just being held.
Yeah, so to backtrack, for SB 125 to be made whole, there would have to be revenues in the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. to support that appropriation, we'd be losing $2 billion a year annually. And so while there's not a 100% guarantee that those monies would therefore not be forthcoming, there is a very strong likelihood that it wouldn't be because the available resources would be significantly constrained. And I think it would then become a conversation around highest and best use of dollars and would put us in a position where the climb is infinitely steep in order to secure those revenues. And so it's SB 125, but it is also more directly the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program and the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program. And staff has additional details on exactly dollar amounts and what MST has benefited from in years past.
So if you're bored, if you are inclined or have a relationship with the speaker and you want more details, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me through Jeanette or to me directly, and we can provide you with more talking points if needed. With that, I'd appreciate it if we could move on.
Yeah, is there anything else? Any other questions?
Public comment.
Oh, sorry, public, yeah, public comment? Seeing none?
Okay, so moving on, we've heard all that bad news from Sacramento. We've got Don Gilchrist in Washington, D.C. He's going to tell us how great everything is going in Washington, D.C. Right, Don?
To unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. I am an optimist, and I know we all are expecting good things out of Congress. It will be a bumpy ride, though. I can guarantee you. We're now getting into the budget time, and there's quite a few challenges this year on the budget. This means developing the 12 annual appropriations bills that fund the government. We'd ideally like to see those enacted by October 1 when the new fiscal year starts. And that is certainly not going to happen by October 1. We're probably an optimistic goal would be to see those enacted before the end of December. And that is quite possible, but it is a difficult year with this being an election year and a lot of partisan issues that have been carrying over from the previous year. This year budget also means a return to the partisan budget reconciliation process. And that's going to be used by Republicans to try to enact some of their spending priorities in the area of immigration and defense spending. So that's going on in the background. It's a big part of the process this year. So far, I don't see reconciliation impacting MST directly, but that is something we definitely want to keep a close eye on. Right now, we're focusing on your appropriations goals. President Trump sent his budget proposal for 27 to the Hill in early April. And that kicks off the process for drafting these 12 funding bills. The transportation appropriations bill is certainly the most important one for MST. And that's going to be a lot more difficult this year because of the expiration of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. That will expire on October 1. That infrastructure bill has been a helpful backstop on spending issues that has helped ensure that House appropriators don't cut those programs too much. They've nibbled around the edges some, but primarily those infrastructure dollars that were enacted 5 years ago have been honored and protected, and that has certainly helped MST and other transit agencies. Unfortunately, the Trump proposal for FY27 does not include a reauthorization proposal, and it does not include any new advance appropriations, which was one of the elements that was in the infrastructure legislation. And primarily because those advance appropriations have not been proposed to be renewed, and that's only a proposal by the president. His budget assumes that DOT would see total spending for transportation, for surface transportation, to be reduced by 22% next year. And if we're looking at the FTA programs that you care a lot about, those programs would be reduced by about 23%. If we could advance to the next slide, that is captured in some details. I would note that the Highway Trust Fund programs have been protected under the president's budget, and a small increase for those has been proposed. Those are primarily your FTA formula programs, which are certainly very, very important. They're the most important federal programs for you. You also care about the other programs because they provide grant opportunities for you to compete to and support other parts of the surface transportation program. Next slide, please. I just wanted to show on this slide some examples of what the impacts are of if the advance appropriations do expire. These are some of the big hits in spending that would happen in FY27 if we do not see new advance appropriations. And for MST, those reductions in capital investment grants and the low-no program are probably the ones that hurt you the most because they would eliminate opportunities for you to compete for project funding. We think the transportation appropriations bill will be marked up at the subcommittee level on May 21st. And that's really the first time we'll actually see what House Republicans are going to do with these Trump budget proposals. I don't expect them to embrace them in total, but because of the president's influence, I think House Republicans will move in that direction. But we really won't know until we see what the bill is like when they release it just before it marks up at the subcommittee level. The Senate appropriators are undoubtedly going to take a more bipartisan approach when they mark up their bill, and we don't know when that will be yet, but I think it could happen in June. Next slide, please. So at the same time, we've talked a little bit about the infrastructure bill. We're continuing to lobby for a new multi-year authorization of these surface transportation programs. The current appropriations process helps show how important this authorization bill is. They both work together to provide federal funding to MST, and we have to lobby both of these together. On the House side, the chair of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee has been floating a proposal for a 5-year bill that would be in the neighborhood of $500 to $550 billion. And House Democrats are negotiating with him. They are trying to get that number closer to $600 billion over 5 years. And those negotiations are ongoing. And because they're ongoing, it's one of the reasons this bill keeps getting delayed. The committee was planning to mark up its bill this week when the House comes back from recess, and that has been postponed yet again. So we've got a lot of delays. We want to see the House get moving on this so we can start to see some of the issues crystallize and where we need to lobby. But it's almost certain that there will have to be some sort of an extension on October 1 to keep these programs running, and that will coincide with the development of the appropriations bill for next year as well. If we could go to the next slide. These are some of the issues that we've been lobbying on the reauthorization. Board members and staff from MST were in Washington, D.C. during April for the APTA Legislative Conference, and they were able to participate in some Capitol Hill meetings where we touched on some of these. But in the area of funding, we really focus on the transit formula programs and the bus and bus facilities programs, but we also care about other grant opportunities, including the Capital Investment Grants Program, which you have used successfully for your bus rapid transit projects. And apart from funding, we do want to see some programmatic changes that would help MST. We've been working on expanding the eligibility for rural areas under the TIFIA program, which is a credit assistance program, and you have participated in that program in the past. And there's a number of other policy issues, including supporting the small transit intensive cities program. Be happy to talk more about these in detail, but if we could advance to the next slide, I'll conclude there in order to be as brief as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Seeing none, we'll open the community.
Do we have any hands? No.
And no one's seeing hands, so thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Matt.
Good.
Those are our state and federal legislative updates.
Good. Is that what I left my agenda?
You left your agenda? I think we're next up.
I think that's it, isn't it?
No, I'm not more. The draft budget, but the other room is ready now. Do we want to go into the other room?
The other room is working now?
So that the other board members can come and have.
Sure. Okay. Okay,
Sit in seats.
we're all about mobility here, right?
I don't know. Stick here.
We got Tony's hungry. We got a little mobility, maybe. Good morning. Good morning. I want to give Tony a bagel.
Those are nice cheers.
Was this meeting productive? Thank you.
Never. You weren't here.
Oh, there it is.
Check, the check. Where are you at?
Here.
Nothing there. Run our meeting. Thanks. Oh, okay. It is out then. Okay.
There we go. Luis is in? Okay, good. All right. So next item on our agenda is a draft of the FY 27 and 28 operating and capital budgets. We have Lisa Reinheimer ready to make a presentation. Whenever you're ready to go, sir. Let's go.
All right, thank you so much. Lisa Reinheimer, Deputy CEO for MST. And we have back here the numbers person, Andrea Williams, who this time of year puts a lot of time and energy into the budget. And so this is the draft sort of overview of the budget. We'll be bringing it back to the full board for a public hearing in June. And so the full board will get another look at the budget at that time. Next slide, please. So what I'd like to do here is just go through to the year-end forecast, talk about some budget priorities, look into the revenues versus expenses, talk about some of the service highlights, and a little bit about the capital improvement program. Next slide. So as you heard in the last two presentations, things are kind of crazy at the state level, the federal level, and it makes it really difficult to project what we're going to get over the next year in terms of revenues. But if we look back into the last year, we had about 6.4 million in revenues. Expenses were 63.9 million in revenues, 65.1 million in expenses, creating a deficit, not including capital expenditures, of $1.1 million. And this is the first year since we've been projecting a deficit that we anticipate that we will actually have a deficit. So I will cut to the chase. We anticipate another deficit for this coming fiscal year as well. Luckily, we have a $50 million unrestricted reserve that we can pull from, but it won't last forever. So next slide.
Our priorities, of course, are to maximize our revenues. In other words, those revenues that are coming from the federal government. We use those first because once they go away forever. So we want to make sure that we're maximizing that source. We'll look for grants for one-time expenditures, not operations, unless we have a need for a local match. We'll continue the fares at the existing rates. We'll continue our partnerships with the trolley, with the city of Monterey for the trolley, as well as our Eco Smart Pass program for the local colleges and university. Operate the Better Bus Network at board adopted levels, continue the appropriate level of staffing, and closely monitor expenses. This is one that is going to be critical this year. This coming year is closely monitoring those expenses. Next slide. So the revenues overall are increasing by very small amount, 1.2%. Where we're seeing some increases, we're seeing at the federal operating level, using up some funds that were from previous fiscal years. Our partnerships and Measure Q programs, that's that 1/8 of 1 cent sales tax across the county for seniors, people with disabilities, and veterans that will be expiring in 2030. However, we're seeing decreases from the local transportation fund, state transit assistance, in the passenger fares, advertising revenue, and other interest. Other interest is interest that we make off of that 50 million. And so those, because we'll be using some of the 50 million, our interest amount is going to be going down, the total amount. Our interest rates are not increasing either. So we're seeing about $64.7 million worth of revenues. Next slide. On the operating budget expenses side of the house, we're seeing a total of 74.4 million needed for to operate at our existing levels. We're looking at increases in labor and benefits. We have a few more people that we need to keep the operation going, and insurances are going up a considerable amount. We also have some services that are going up, fuel, parts, and supplies. I'd like to linger on fuel for a minute. As you know, with the Iran war, that fuel prices have increased. So while we're putting some additional vehicles into our battery electric fleet, we still do anticipate that fuel costs will increase, and it'll be 41% increase in our budget for all of the above: fuel, parts, and supplies. Utilities, insurance, leases, and other, those will also go up, as well as under purchase transportation. That's our TransDev contract. And in that contract, there are annual increases. And so this will be part of that. Next slide. So when you take a look at it all, we are forecasting a $2.6 million deficit for this current fiscal year. And for next fiscal year, we're anticipating a $10.6 million deficit. We're looking at about a 3-4% increase in the number of people that we need, and all the associated insurances, health insurance, et cetera, that go into that. Fuel costs, we're looking at just under $1 million of increases, those TransDev increases, and then combined that with the revenues not keeping pace with expenses, we're getting that $10.6 million dollar amount. So next slide. We'll continue operating Better Bus Network, College EcoSmart Pass program. We have had considerable growth in the van pool program, so we'll continue that. We're proposing 7 free fare days as promotional effort: Election Day, Thanksgiving Day, Rosa Parks Day, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, Earth Day is Senior Transit Day. Senior Transit Day is limited to the senior transit routes that we operate, so it's not as, comprehensive as the rest of them. And then we'll continue our planning efforts for the Salinas Operations and Maintenance Facility, which in the next slide you'll see as well on the capital side. Next slide. So we're looking at 2.8 million funded, 10.9 million unfunded on the capital side of the budget. We'll continue the Surf Busway and Bus Rapid Transit project, as well as the Salinas Operations and Maintenance Facility, which you will have a presentation on with the full board. We're very excited to present some information for you. We'll do some vehicle replacements, support equipment, facilities. We're, not overspending, certainly with that 2.8 million in the capital side. But if we are able to get capital grant funds to fund those unfunded, we'll have more. So sorry, I can't give you better news on the budget side, but we are where we are, and thank goodness for a over $50 million capital reserve to pull from. So I'll stop there and answer any questions you may have.
Does anybody have any questions?
There's a reason that's there.
Yes, go ahead, please.
You almost went.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. For the, you were talking about our fuel expenses and with the increase of electric buses, does that offset any of that? Is it just too small? Is it negligible, or is it something that we can look towards?
It's pretty negligible. What we've found is that on the electricity side, there's still that sort of fuel cost, but it happens to be electricity, so we're including that as well.
Okay.
Norm, you have a chart that shows the cost of biofuel, gas, and electric in our monthly report, and we show it's generally a little bit under those other two as you look at them as equivalents.
Mhm.
So, I just don't think it's going to realize any particular gain for us.
And then in terms of reserves, do we have, I know this is the operations budget, do we set aside money
Yes.
every year in
Yes.
reserves?
Yes, it's it's board policy, actually, 15% of operating expenses.
So we have that covered.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then some.
we have a board minimum of 15%. We're sitting at about 80%
Okay,
of reserves.
yeah.
Give or take, right? Thereabouts.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Slide 7. So you have a column for the year 26 and then 26 forecast to June 30th. So does that mean that as of right now we have a deficit of $10 million?
No, for a fiscal year ending in 2026, as in June 30th, however many days away that is, $2.6 million deficit, which will pull from the capital, from the unrestricted reserve. And then the last column you'll see is the 10.6 million that we're estimating in next year's fiscal year budget starting July 1st.
How about the first one?
That was what we had budgeted last year. At this time, I was telling you, this committee, that we would have a just over $10 million deficit, but what we're coming in at is 2.6 million. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's hindsight versus foresight.
Thanks.
Just real quick, if you talking about 50, is there at some point you start cutting back or looking at
Yes, it's,
staffing or
yes,
or less
yes,
buses?
yes, it's not now,
Yeah,
but it will be depending on how quickly we draw down from the reserve. So at this rate, at the $10 million rate, we'll have to have a conversation in 2 or 3 years.
okay.
And the importance of stabilizing the Measure Q funding for the future, because in 2030, that's when that sales tax expires. So it's a considerable amount of our budget and goes to pay for these great programs that our seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities depend on. So that's why we're keeping an eye on voter sentiment for Measure Q extension or an increase.
Any other questions? Seeing none, any hands raised, seeing none. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
We'll come back with, if you have any input, something occurs to you after this, please reach out and we will be coming back to your board, for the final budget to be adopted at the June meeting in advance of the new fiscal year starting in July.
Okay.
So we'll continue to refine these numbers. We are having internal discussions about, given the situation, is every staff person that we're, continually be short on, do we need to fill that position now or not? And so, and similar discussions on service levels. Are there ways, alternate service providers? Currently, we use taxi cabs to augment our MST rides program and our taxi cab program. We're looking at perhaps partnerships with Uber or other transportation network companies that may be able to offer us a less expensive way. So we're continuing, even though we have $50 million in reserves, that doesn't mean that we're not looking at trying to save every dollar that we can. So we are going to continue, and you'll hear more about these types of things as we come back with a final budget or throughout the year. We're foreshadowing some of these things, particularly that Uber transportation network company stuff. Let you know now there's some fairly serious discussions going on between MST staff and Uber about lowering our costs.
Okay, well, thank you. Seeing nothing else on the agenda, there's no closed session. So can we adjourn the meeting at 9:57?
So we may. Started out a little rough, but we brought it in on time.